You can catch today's guest running around like crazy on any Sabre Dogs home game. Joining me now is Sabre Dogs Assistant General Manager Brett Schweitzer. Schweitzer, right? Schweitzer, Schweitzer. Okay, cool. You've been called plenty of things, probably. Young up and comer here. Already got the AGM role for a baseball team that plays in the summertime here in Minot. One that's been really popular in its first couple years of existence. But for you personally, Brett, what made you want to go into sports management in general?
I guess when I was looking at it back in high school is kind of when I figured out what sports management was all about and started researching on schools that I wanted to try and go play college ball at. And there's a few of them at the time back in 2012, 2013 that had it to offer, but over the years you've seen it really grow in a lot of different colleges, and North Dakota State was the one that I ended up picking after I was done with my 2 years at Bismarck State. And I'm very happy with the way it's turned out anyway.
Baseball is one of those sports where there's so many levels to it. You talk about minor, independent leagues, Sabre Dogs Summer College League for guys that want to get more and more reps to it. But even though there's plenty of places, there's plenty of markets for this sport, did you expect to have a title like assistant GM 2 years out of college?
Not right off the bat, no. Obviously, I figured I'd have to work up to something like this, but I guess it's all about how you perform. And I was an intern back in 18 with the Big Sticks, and that's really what got me to where I'm at right now. And people notice when you work hard and do a good job. And Steve Wagner was the owner of the Big Sticks back then at the time in 18. And I think what I did really was shown on the field, and Steve took recognition of, and he kept that in consideration when he needed the job.
What's that? He wears like so many hats for this league right now. This year's installment, Steve Wagner, one of the founders of the league, and he's the league president and now serving as Sabre Dogs GM, took over for Daryl Handelsman, who won an Executive of the Year award earlier in the history of this young league here. What's kind of the dynamic of a club running where like it's a big league title employee being the GM? I'm thinking like David Stern when he didn't want to trade Chris Paul out of New Orleans, or what's it like?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of phone calls with him. It's not a daily thing by any means because he's still trying to grow the league and he's in other markets checking it out, making sure things are running smoothly. So a lot of what is done on a day-to-day basis is Jack Gorman and I kind of handling the interns, managing that, and the game day staff. And he was here for opening day, but now it's kind of just Jack and I doing everything around the ballpark.
Jack's the big ticket guy, right?
That is it.
The one that doesn't hook me up. He just refers me to the website to buy my tickets.
Yeah,
okay.
He calls himself the director of sales, but as of late, he's kind of been the director of sounds. He's the guy making all the funny little clips between pitches and whatnot. So.
Yeah, you guys are the couple of guys with the funny suits on your team bios on the page. Everybody should look that up. So, do you think you guys, basically as a team right now, you and Jack, do you have maybe some more freedom in management than expected because like, Steve's a really busy guy?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an increased responsibility, which we knew going into it. Just the fact that he's not from Minot, not living here, knowing that a lot of what's getting done is kind of on us to do. And so, I mean, we've taken it on. I think we've done a pretty good job of making sure people are happy around the city. So we knew what we were getting into anyway.
You said already that your career track with this league maybe had a lot to do with being in Badlands with Steve as well, being close to every franchise when the league starts up. But what did you learn from your experience as an intern overall, be it was Badlands, NDSU Athletics, Fargo Force?
Yeah, it's all just comes down to fan experience and making sure everybody that comes to the games is happy with what they've done. And, I mean, I worked in the box office for the Fargo Force, so just making sure that you're moving lines quickly, getting people into the stadium, and then once they're in there, making sure that they want to stay there and make it to the third period or the ninth inning.
How do you see the assistant GM gig come open when you're applying for things like this? And what was the process like where it was kind of a year in transition of Daryl heading out and Steve taking over ultimately the way that he did? And I guess you just went, hey, Badlands throughout the interview, or what was the...
I didn't even really have an interview, honestly. I was perfectly comfortable working for Universal Athletic. I liked my job over there in Bismarck, and I got a call one day from Steve at lunchtime actually saying, hey, I got a potential opportunity up here in Minot if you're interested, and kind of kicked around the idea for about a 10-minute phone call. And got back to me a couple days later and had a serious offer. We were talking money and whatnot, and it was a matter of, he called me on like a Wednesday, and I think I made the decision that weekend or maybe that next Monday. So it was kind of out of the blue. It wasn't something that I applied for. I don't think they ever posted a job posting online for it. It was just connections, which is big in sports, all about who you know. And so I think what I did in 18 with the sticks kind of translated and stuck in Steve's mind, obviously, and led to this job. And
your time in Fargo as a student at NDSU after BSC, working with the athletic department there, maybe lots of times you were, but not all the time, hopefully, being like a gopher intern perhaps. But one big thing that I read up on you about when preparing was you got to go to the 2018 NFL draft in, I think, Dallas area. What was that like for you?
Yeah, that was awesome. So the Sport Management Association at North Dakota State, we loaded up a 52-person bus. We filled every seat, and we drove down to Dallas. And we were there from Tuesday through Sunday. We were there for the entire draft, and so we got in on Tuesday night. I went to a couple Texas Rangers games Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday morning we hit the ground running. And it felt like a state fair there. The entire parking lot was filled with different games and activities, trophies, a bunch of NFL players. I got pictures with Stephon Diggs and Juju Smith-Schuster. It's just a lot of fun stuff going on there on the fan experience side of things that we really got to help out on.
I got a couple stories with Stephon Diggs back from when we both went to the University of Maryland, so you have to check out the Joe Mellenbrook episode for that one, because we don't have to keep dragging him through the mud since he's a Buffalo Bill nowadays anyway.
Yeah.
When you get through these intern and volunteering experiences in like Dallas specifically, you said you were with some players at some points. I mean, did you have enough time to just breathe and just see the state fair atmosphere? Or were you like always running like it was a home game here?
Yeah, kind of lucked out where, the draft, they never really had whole groups of a sport management association come down, so we brought 52 people. They're used to just having like families or individuals doing it. So
an NFL roster?
Yeah, literally. We drop off a bus and people are like, all right, crap, well now we got to find spots for all these people. And what we ended up doing, what I had to do was just kind of, it was like I don't know how I ended up with it, but I was supposed to be like a information booth kind of thing where I walked around, and if people needed help on, hey, where's the New Era hat store at? Oh, you go around the corner over there, something like that. So, and half the time I didn't really know where anything was. I just pointed them in a direction and hoped they found it and kind of got them off my chest. But no, it was a lot of fun anyway, getting to interact with the fans and just seeing how a large event like the NFL draft is run from the inside out.
Yeah, and I wonder if New Era makes like 10-gallon hats down there in Texas or not. So 2016 was a long time ago, so I want to transition to maybe the next era of Fargo fanboying from Carson Wentz to Trey Lance. I mean, you were right there at the draft. Where do you think Trey Lance is getting drafted when he's done?
Yeah, I guess I don't follow that much too in depth, but
you don't follow hyperbole in sports?
Not really.
No? Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's always fun to see a North Dakota State guy represented in the draft, and from the sounds of the little that I've heard anyway, he's got potential.
Mm-hmm. So speaking from your experience playing college baseball at BSC and then making the jump to NDSU, how much of a help is it to play summer ball for a team like the Sabre Dogs here?
Yeah, it was a big help. College baseball is always a fun atmosphere. Guys are kind of finding their way in junior college. A bunch of 18, 19-year-old kids that it was a fun bonding experience, and you can kind of see the same similarities here in the summer ball ranks where people don't know each other. They're all coming from all different parts of the world. I don't know, it's a fun little vibe here.
Did you get a chance to do that at all, or is it just...
No, it was a couple years after me. I guess the Larks were in 17, the Sticks came in 18, but I was done playing in 16. If I could have, I would have, but my first year of college, I came back and I played Legion ball, actually, but that sophomore summer, I hung it up and just coached Babe Ruth baseball at the time.
You get these summer teams that you guys build together basically year to year. Sure, there's a couple of veterans that have been here all 3 years, but I hear, like, first year of the Sabre Dogs, man, it's going to be fun playing in front of these passionate fans that we have in Minot, but also these at-bats, these innings that I'm going to be pitching are going to be huge for helping my respective college team. So with that said, I'm kind of wondering, how much do the guys, when they join a summer team, how much does winning really matter to them when, like, the experience has to be big for, like, the team that's giving them a scholarship, but at the same time, maybe it takes like some couple of road trips for you guys to gel together to think about like winning.
Yeah, I think anytime you step between the chalk lines, and I guess ours are plastic painted lines here, but
tires, shredded tire marks,
and some sand out there. But anytime you go between the lines, you're playing to win, kind of thing. So I don't know if they might not be the number one priority in their minds, and they're taking cuts. They want to get better. Obviously, that's why they're here, so that when they go back in the fall and the spring next year, they can produce for their team as well at their school. But from the personal growth side of things, that's priority number one. But also, they want to win. That's just the natural beast in all baseball players. They want to find a way to get the job done.
There, yeah. I believe you. Trust me. Okay,
Yeah.
good. And also, a little plug for the promoter in Brett Schweitzer is talking about the playing surface. By the way, quick aside, Corbett Field once again up for best of the ballparks in 2020. I hope they're not knocked out by the time this airs in a week or so time, but whatever. So next up, I want to take it back to your. Well, let's ask one more time about BSC and NDSU. You're one of the guys that plays the junior college route for a couple years, and then you wrap it up at NDSU. Anything that you miss maybe about having just all 4 years as a student in Fargo, or miss your playing days more than your 2 years?
It was
at
more
NDSU?
so the playing days. Yeah, I guess the biggest thing before I even went to school for college was that I wanted to go into the sport management industry, and so that was like top priority, I guess, for me. And the junior college route gave me an opportunity to knock out my generals at Bismarck State for a low price, and met my best friends I've ever had there. I've been in a few weddings already and a couple more to come, so I'm very grateful for what happened at Bismarck State. And I guess the one regret, if you want to call it that, I'm not sure it would be a regret because I had a great time at NDSU too, but maybe to be playing the other two, just to hang my hat on, say I was a 4-year college baseball player. But I'm happy with how NDSU turned out too. I had a lot of great opportunities, and I loved my classes and my degree, and I think it shaped up pretty well for me.
This is an ideal time for us to be talking. We're in the Corbett Field tunnels right before a Minot-Dickinson Rough Riders Legion baseball game, and you come up as a Dickinson midget, right? And I'll let you know right off the bat, I'm fond of the area. I named my fantasy football team the Mickets and Digits last fall. It fared out pretty well, Brett. So how well did Dickinson fare during your baseball and hockey careers when they were playing Minot?
Yeah, hockey we were always middle of the pack, probably a little bit lower in the rankings there, but we had a lot of fun doing it anyway, and it was typically around that 7 to 5 seed is what we'd come in at. But baseball, we're a baseball town in Dickinson. We know we were good, and we carried ourselves that way. And grew up from the time I was playing travel ball for the first time, probably 8 years old. We didn't like Minot. Minot and Dickinson, that was right in the heat of it with Cole Frenzel, Ben Haroff going against LG over here in Minot. So that was kind of prime time rivalry between the Vistas and the Rough Riders, or the Magicians and the Midgets. And I still kind of got that deep in me a little bit, but I'm hiding it now a little bit now that I'm here in Minot. But yeah, it was fun.
Okay, so during that time, if you're worried about going up against LG, who were the Dickinson legends that you guys had?
Yeah, that was Cole Frenzel. He went to the University of Arizona, drafted by the Mets. Ben Haroff was another big knocker for him back then. We had some other big arms, a Laylock and a Stefan. And yeah, I think both teams, everybody around the state, it seemed like back then, was pretty loaded with arms.
There's a little bit of a controversy here at this field a year or so ago. You've probably gone in school since then, but there was the Dickinson Rough Riders and the Volunteers. They're two different levels of Legion. I was covering one of the levels where like Dickinson was an 8 or a 1 seed, depending on what level it was. Mm-hmm. They were knocked out, and then they loaded up their other roster. Is that like a Dickinson hallmark where they're able to sneak their way and win championships or what?
Yeah, I don't know. Take the trophy when you can, but I don't know. I guess I think that was last year in Bismarck, wasn't it, when they did that? And,
I saw it up here.
Oh, did they do it?
Yeah.
I guess if you got to find a win.
Hey, you got a good pedigree going. That's nice. Very good.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of pedigree, here's your chance to give a shout out to good old Jack Gorman. Kind of alluded to his help a little bit. I mean, if he wasn't here, man, you'd be really screwed, huh?
No, I think I'd be doing a little bit more efficient.
Pumping the tires or what? Or no?
Just fine. I'm kidding. No, I like having Gorman. We have a good time when we're sitting in the office there together, and we get a lot of stuff done. And I was a little nervous at first when I took this job. He said he was hiring somebody from Buffalo, New York. I was like, well, who the heck is this?
Well, he knows it's cold.
Yeah,
he's living here year-round now.
A little nervous. I thought this guy saw his picture at first. If you saw his original mugshot on the Facebook post introducing him, I thought, oh, geez, this guy looks a little rough. But he shows up, and he was just as rough as he looked. But we ended up being pretty good buddies. So I like having Gorman around.
Yeah, I think you guys have both kind of accelerated towards like the mean for both your personalities. Yeah. You thought he was rough going in. Now you're going with like the crustache or whatever you got going on.
You got a mullet right now too, but we'll see how long that lasts. If this is still on when you air the video or the podcast.
Thank God this is an audio show. Just kidding. Doesn't help me none. Okay, so guys like you guys, Brett Schweitzer, Jack Gorman, when you get these early jobs working in front offices in these little summer independent league baseball teams, might be a stepping stone for you guys unless you really, really, really love it. What would you kind of say maybe is your big time career goal? You want to be GM of the Twins or whatever, like top of the top.
Maybe it's a little homebody me, but I like North Dakota, so I don't know if my top goal is to be in a big city working for a metropolitan team like that. But yeah, this is a stepping stone, and I think of it more as the experience of being a general manager, not just from the baseball side of things, but from managing the people and the organization itself, a business side of it. Is really what I was most interested in, and learning how that is all supposed to function correctly. And I'm looking forward to it. And I think Gorman's got bigger goals with the sports industry, but like everybody who has worked in it, you see there's kind of a lot of high turnover there because once people get a little older and have families, they don't really want to be at the ballpark late at night. They want to be having more of a stable career with a 9-to-5 job, wife and kids, whatnot. But I think it's perfect for a position like Jack and I, where we're both 24 years old and we got nothing but time on our hands. So
Did anything surprise you going from being an intern to being like a manager?
Not really. I mean, there's a few things, obviously, like the handling of the money and whatnot. But my internship in Dickinson, it was very hands-on. They asked a lot of me, the general manager, Jason Watson, and me and another intern there. We kind of took the bull by the horns and made sure stuff was run correctly there.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, talking about taking care of the money, you guys don't have to count that high, do you? I mean, if we're able to, yeah.
We figured out real quick that Jack should avoid counting. He does the first count, and I'll do the confirmation count because he's usually off a little bit. But it's not high dollars by any means, but he finds a way to mess it up. Still.
I'm picturing you guys walking into like the Holy of Holies and Casino with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci and all that. Yeah. Just a couple of skimmers here. No, just kidding. That's not you. Referring to this as maybe some stepping stones early in you guys' career, maybe another place you could find stepping stones is when you're out in the water, getting ready to. At the time of taping, I know you're already looking ahead. The team's on the road.
Oh yeah.
For a little quick dip back home.
Yeah.
And then a double off day in baseball. I don't know how you negotiated that with Steve, but get a chance to go down to Bisman area for your pontoon sanctuary.
I love it. Yeah, that was the toughest part about taking this job. And granted, I took it in January, so my mind probably wasn't thinking too clearly. Not just kidding. But yeah, the pontoon life down in Bismarck-Mandan is awesome. My parents got a house right on the river there, and it's right next to the canal, I guess, right on the edge. So that was the one thing I knew I was going to miss. And over the 4th of July weekend, I definitely missed it quite a bit, seeing everybody else being out on the pontoon, piece of water, drinking some beers, and lighting fireworks off, if I'm allowed to say that.
Mm-hmm.
But no,
you're allowed to talk about beer, but okay. God forbid fireworks.
But no, it's. I'm looking forward to going back home, finally hopping on that thing again, and maybe catch some sun, get a little bit of a tan or a burn. I guess I don't really tan since I'm blonde, but. I'll be red. I'll be a dancing lobster for the next home series.
Likewise. So, there might be some people that pick up on this from Dickinson or maybe down south, in Bismarck. Please tell them to listen. Yeah. Where's like the ideal boating route for you? You do a couple bar hops or a couple secret coves down there or what? Under a bridge?
You drop an anchor in and tie up with some buddies. If you got a couple buddies that have pontoons too, but
Redneck Yacht Club.
Pretty much, yeah. You just tie up and crack the cooler and have a good time, crank some tunes, and it's a lot of fun. Trade out the ballpark cap for either a bucket hat or a visor. Sometimes I'll flip it upside down too.
Saban straw hat,
exactly.
Training camp, something like that.
Yeah.
If you guys drag race, how fast do those things go?
Drag race,
yeah.
Drag race. But are you talking about the pontoons?
The pontoons.
Oh, we are there to float, man. We don't race those things. It's a laid back atmosphere, but no wake zones too. You also can't go very fast.
If you ever get out east of Camden Yards in Baltimore, we got a nice little place. We'll fly our Donzi around 60 mile an hour for you. All right.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
I'll sneak that in any chance I get. Brett, really appreciate the time. The team is doing well, but hey, let's win some more road games when they're not here, and we can get away with asking that of them. All right.
Into that, yeah.
All right. That's Brett Schweitzer, assistant GM of the Souris Valley Sabre Dogs. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.